guys? Welcome back to Actually Adultish. I'm one of your hosts, Nina.
And I'm your other host, Christina. And we're very excited to be here again with you today. Thanks everybody who has subscribed so far. It means so much to us. And if you haven't already, you should definitely leave a rating and a review on iTunes and Stitcher. And you should tell all your friends and your TAs and your professors and your mom and your dad.
And your dog
everybody
and your
at Thanksgiving. Yeah, everybody at Thanksgiving, tell them to listen because we need some more support as always. And if you haven't followed us on Instagram yet, you really should because it's exciting. Follow us at Actually Adultish. And also, if you haven't sent in a question, you should do that too. And you can send that in to actuallyadultish.com, or you can email us at actuallyadultish@gmail.com. Or if you don't want to send in a question, you can just say hi. We like to hear from you.
Yeah, tweet us. We have a Twitter too.
Yeah, that's at Actually Adult. It's exciting. Okay, so all of that out of the way. Today we're super excited because we have a very, very special guest.
Laura Yates.
Yes, Laura Yates. She's all the way from across the pond. Why don't you introduce yourself, Laura?
Well, thank you very much for having me. What an introduction. Wow, it's great to be here. So I'm from the UK, and what I do is that I help people. I'm a coach and I'm a writer, and I specialise in helping people through breakups and heartbreak. And of course, that then filters into dating stuff as well. So that's what I do.
Yeah, and it just works perfectly. I feel like our audience really needs help with some heartbreak.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're so excited. So what first got you into this field?
Yeah, it wasn't something that when I was at school, I envisaged myself being a breakup coach.
Yeah.
Or offering dating advice. Like, no, it just wasn't a thing. But then I got into coaching a few years back. And it was kind of just like life coaching, really, just helping people with confidence and figuring out what they wanted to do with their lives and all of that. And I was just coaching women at that point. And then I went through a really significant breakup, and it was really heartbreaking. You know, I thought I was going to marry this guy. I thought he was the one. And we broke up, and kind of going on that journey myself, I was writing about what I was learning, what I was experiencing, what I was feeling, things that I was doing that was helping, things that definitely weren't helping. I've made every single mistake in the book. Like, I was that girl. So I've been there, done that, done it all. And so, you know, when I was putting my stuff out there on my blog, and I wrote for a couple of other bigger sites as well with big audiences, and people would write to me and say that they found it really helpful, that, you know, they found it really comforting that someone really understood where they were coming from. And the more people that did, the more I realized that people really need support in that area. Like, breakups are something we all go through, right? Sure. Regardless of how smart we are, how attractive we are, how charismatic we are, you know, all of that stuff, we're not immune to it. But at the same time, people don't really feel that they can seek support, you know, because they think like, oh, well, everyone goes through this. Like, I've just got to be able to kind of crack on and deal with it. So the more people that reached out, I thought, actually, there's something in this, and I really feel like I can help people. And it just kind of went from there. And then, you know, that's when I just completely geared what I do into that niche, really.
Okay, so how does one become a dating coach? Like, do you need to go through training, certification? Do you need to date other people in order to, is that part of the process?
Is it life experience?
I think it's largely life experience. I mean, as far as I'm aware, there's no dating coaching accreditation or anything. There are various coaching qualifications that you can get, and I've done a few courses and everything, but really, to be honest, and, you know, I'm very, very upfront about this. I haven't gone to college for it. It's not something that I've kind of studied in an educational capacity. But what you do need is intuition. You need to be able to connect with people. You need to be able, like, when people are telling you something, you really need to be able to kind of get to the heart of what it is that they really, really need. And then be able to ask them the right questions that's then going to get them to kind of draw their own conclusions on what they need to do. So coaching is very, very empowering. It's very different from therapy in that way. So just to make that clear.
That's what I was going to bring up.
But you need experience as well. I mean, you can't really kind of, you know, advise people what to do or do this work if you haven't been through those experiences yourself. And I think why people why the clients I attract anyway gravitate towards me is that I'm, I try to be very real in everything that I put out there. I'm still vulnerable in the posts I even put out today. Like, I haven't got it all figured out.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what people want when working with someone. They don't want someone to just sit there and tell them what to do and be like, right, I'm the expert and this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's so interesting. So how do people respond when you tell them you're a dating coach?
They're usually very curious.
Yeah.
They're usually like, oh wow, I haven't really heard of that before. I mean, because for me, because I work, I've been doing this work for a while now, and I know quite a few other people who do the same thing. It's just kind of the norm.
Yeah.
But I always forget that for kind of people outside of that, they kind of go, oh my god, I didn't even realize that was a thing that you could do. And so usually the response is really positive. I mean, when it comes to guys that I'm dating,
just about to ask that.
That
is that intimidating? That was, I feel like they would be so intimidated.
Sit up a little bit straighter.
Oh shit, I can't mess up.
Yeah, some find it a challenge. Some get a little bit antsy about it and get a bit like, oh my god, is she going to be analyzing me? And
but it's like, you're not a psychiatrist,
well, this is the thing, and I don't take what I do into kind of my personal life. So when I am going on dates, I'm not there analysing that person, because like I said before, I'm still not, I haven't got it, I'm not the perfect kind of dating person. There are
is anyone?
Well, exactly. I think sometimes we can be led to believe that there are all these tricks and tactics, and it's like, no, it's not really like that.
No, I feel like that's what popular culture, like movies, movies like, I don't know, like Hitch.
Yeah. Yes.
What do you think about movies like that?
Yeah, which is a great film.
Yeah, no, it's so entertaining.
But it's entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course there are things that you can do when you're going out dating that are going to better your chances, but they're more things like, well, actually, speaking to people. And I mean, the best kind of pickup line out there is hi. And there's a lot of people that say, oh, you must say something like, really outrageous or really hilarious, and you must say it in this way.
It's
like
worse.
The majority of people just don't respond well. Like, I mean, imagine like you guys, what sort of stuff do you respond best to? Just kind of normal.
Yeah, just being like, hi.
Normal.
Just like not being a
if
weirdo.
it's like a pickup line, it's a little bit.
Yeah, pickup. I'm like,
it's
okay,
a little
no,
out of the blur
bye.
and just-
I don't want to hear a pickup line.
because you can spot it, can't you? And it's just
Right.
not authentic.
It's not authentic.
Well, because it's like, I want somebody who's trying to be my friend first. So just like try and approach me like you want to be my friend, you know?
Yeah.
Not trying to get something out of me right away.
Yeah.
Like, let's not jump the gun.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, exactly. But you are right. Pop culture and entertainment and movies and everything, they do portray that there are all of these tactics,
like a
and
game.
strategies, and a game.
Yeah, which is sad, I think, because it shouldn't be a game.
No, but I do think that online dating has made it a little bit like that as well.
Yeah.
Because we're swiping and we're going on dates, and we're already in the back of our minds thinking ahead of, well, this person's nice, they seem cool, but there might be something better. And you can literally then just grab your phone and go to the toilet and be swiping. And, lining up your next date. So I just don't think people are taking the time to build connections.
I know, I agree. Wait, so since you brought it up, let's talk about the dating apps and the online dating. So I'm getting the sense you're not a fan.
I don't.
Or
I actually,
what do you think?
Yeah, I don't mind dating apps. I think if you use them in the right way, they're a really good way to meet people. It's just making sure that you're not kind of getting too consumed with them, and you're not chatting for ages. And you're using them as a tool to kind of connect with someone who you think you might get on well with, and then get on a date.
Right.
Whereas so many people aren't doing that, and I think they just become a bit of a distraction.
Yeah,
and I think people are then using them kind of on their own, and they're actually forgetting to get out there in the real world and connect with people in real life. So I think you've got to have a balance of both. There's no point in being on a dating app and getting tons and tons of matches and sitting on your couch every night.
Yeah.
And then not going out and meeting people or meeting any of these people on the app.
It's kind of like trophies, like you're winning this, but you're losing that, and you're just, I don't know. We're not really big fans of it.
Are you not?
No.
I mean, I just think. Well, I think it's also different depending on what age people are. Like people our age just use it to find someone to have sex with. Like, or just to like it's a joke and they're just trying to find somebody to text and like make a joke out of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing serious. I know people who are older than us use it actually seriously.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm older than you
Yeah.
girls, so you know, I think people in their late 20s, 30s,
Yeah. Are actually
they're using them a little bit differently,
Yeah,
and they want something
definitely.
more substantial and a little bit more long term. And you can definitely see that in the bios that people are put in, and
Yeah.
so you know, it can be quite good
Yeah.
for people in that age group. But you're
I guess
right,
I'm just like old fashioned, and I just like
Yeah, me
don't.
too.
I'd rather just
Yeah.
meet someone in person, like run into them. I don't know, like
Yeah, I want something to happen organically, you know, like
Yeah.
a coffee shop but I do understand why the older people use them, because they don't have this sort of community like we do with college and running into people all the time. So they go from like work to home. But do you help people like stylize their profiles?
I sometimes do. Yeah, I sometimes
what
do.
tips do you give them?
Well, I think, I mean, sometimes we can make this a lot more complicated than what it needs to be.
Yeah.
Again, there are no, you know, magic formulas to the perfect online dating profile. I think a lot of people can spend so much time trying to make it perfect, and then they're afraid to kind of put it out there. Really, the main things I think that you need to be thinking about are obviously your photographs, not necessarily how good you look in your pictures, but what are your pictures saying about you? You know, how can you use your pictures to really showcase your personality, what your lifestyle's like, what you like to do in your free time, not using the same type of picture too many times. So that's, you know, that in regards to pictures, that's what I would say. And then, you know, the bio, you've got to think about, well, how can I make this sound like me? How can I, you know, it's like giving a snapshot of your personality.
Yeah.
You know, without, you know, so avoid any
I think what's hard.
cliches.
I think what's hard is I think a lot of people like don't even know their personalities. Like I think that's the hardest part. People don't even know. Like I don't know what I would
I
say.
don't know what I would put in a photo. And
Yeah, which is why it's good to get your friends' advice as well. People you trust, obviously.
Have
but
someone else make it.
you know, I mean, and really make it congruent with who you are and your personality. Like if you use humor in your everyday life and interactions, then put something a little bit funny in there. You know, don't try and be someone that you're not. In attempt to kind of get lots of attention on there, because then you'll go on dates and, you know, it kind of won't be then, you know, how you've portrayed yourself.
So on the line of like millennial style dating, do you also help people with like texting and like what they can say on the phone? Because there's this, I don't know if you know this dating coach, he's also from the UK. His name's Matthew Hussey.
Oh, I love Matthew Hussey.
Yes, he has a lot.
He's based here, isn't he, as well?
Oh, yes, he is. He has like a whole segment about like texting. So I was wondering if you help women and or men like say what to say on text. Well.
Not so much. That isn't really my speciality. I kind of help people. It's more about the question of, oh, you know, he hasn't texted me, or what should I text him back, and things like that, rather than the nitty gritty of, you know, what to put in text. And I think really, again, with texting, you can definitely use it to build connection with someone, but it's really a logistical tool to make arrangements and to actually meet the person in person. I think we can get too caught up in, you know, trying to decipher what a text message means, and, you know, you lose the tone. We can misinterpret so easily what a text message means, and that can cause so much anxiety. Whereas if you kind of just use it in its simplest form, I think that's the best way to do it. And obviously, you know, you can build up a bit of flirtation and a little bit of chemistry, but I don't really think you need to go too far beyond that. Especially if you don't know the person that well.
We talk about this a lot because we're a lot different than a lot of people our age who just all of their conversations are just texting, and
then when you go on a date, like
then you have nothing to talk about. Like,
you know?
like we'd rather just like use it to organize a time to hang out, and then in hang out do all the real interaction. And talking.
So I think guys like our age find us very different because we don't text as much.
Oh, okay.
And so we only text like when it's needed, when there's like you know, like a goal.
Like I don't.
Is this the time?
So they think you're
meet?
being all aloof.
But there's so much to talk about. Like dates are so much funner that way when you have so much.
Definitely.
To talk about.
But I think people, and this is probably the case with millennials as well, are, you know, they're hiding more and more behind text messaging and behind digital communication, because that's just how we're doing things now. And so it's actually, you know, preventing people from being able to communicate so well in person. And it's that stuff which is really what you need to be able to kind of build a relationship with someone and to be able to go out there and have a quote unquote successful date in life. You need to be able to communicate with them. And if you're kind of hiding behind your phone all the time, It's not going to happen.
I know it's like scary. I feel like I mean technology has changed dating so much. Have you read the book Modern Romance by Aziz Ansari?
I haven't. No, it's on my list though.
Interesting. You should read it. He just talks about how technology has totally changed everything, and but also how it's almost like necessary now because we're so mobile and we don't see each other. So many of us, we don't have jobs where we're around each other. Like we're just less social. So it's like you're not running into people.
Yeah.
Whereas like you used to date the person who lived across the street from you. You don't even know your neighbors anymore.
Right.
Like
I don't know
any
of our neighbors.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who lives
borrow
near
a cup of sugar or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are those days gone?
Yeah, exactly.
I sound really old.
Exactly.
I'm not that old.
We really belong in the 1950s.
Yeah,
That's where
no,
we belong.
seriously. So you said, so you mostly help people with breakups.
Yes.
Is there anything else that like is a big area that you focus on?
It's really breakups and then the dating stuff.
Okay.
And really with dating, it's I think when people come out of a breakup, there's a bit of a confidence crash, and so they just need that little bit of a boost to be able to go back out there dating and feel good about it and not be so outcome dependent on what's going to happen from the date and whether it's going to lead to a relationship. And so it's kind of making people see that actually, well, just kind of take a few steps back here. So they're the main areas, really.
Okay, let's just talk about breakups.
Oh, let's do it.
While we're here. Okay, so what do you think? Okay, so what should somebody do if they have this big breakup? Like, what do you do?
So I kind of come in. So people usually find me. They're either the breakup has just happened, so they're in that kind of really raw heartbreak, they can't sleep, they can't eat, they don't know what to do. So at that point, like, I can come in and say, right, okay, we need to be focusing on what you can do to focus on your physical health, because people often forget that when you go through like an emotionally traumatic time, you need to be as physically strong as you can be in order to cope with that emotionally. So I'm there to kind of support them through that. And then there's I don't want to really say steps because there's not a protocol, but there's various things. It's like, handling communication with your ex and what to do with that.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask about.
Right.
What do you think? Do you think that they should cut off all communication, or do you think it's okay to reach out? Or do you think it depends?
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends on the circumstance. I mean, if there are kids involved, that makes it different. Yeah, but I mean, I think in the majority of breakups, perhaps that we're talking about, that's not the case. And I don't go in for, right, you need to not contact your ex for 30 days or 60 days or however long it is. Like, there are some things out there. I do think there needs to be a period of time, though, where you don't have contact. Yeah. And I really do believe that. Not in a game playing way, not to be emotionally manipulative or to try and get them to react to you not reaching out, but really you both need time and distance away from one another to kind of get perspective on that relationship and how it made you feel and how that person made you feel. Because when you're kind of constantly texting them or in touch with them, you're still keeping that emotional connection intact. And it's not until you can, and that's when you tend to glorify all the good things, you miss them so much, and you really draw on those memories instead of thinking you forget about
why you broke up
in the first place, because like, people can be like an addiction, especially when it's romantic, and there's like all of this like chemistry and the physical stuff and all, and the emotional stuff. And so when you withdraw from that can be really hard, and that's where people struggle. But actually then when you allow yourself to kind of get that distance, that's when you can start to see how things were in true reality, and whether if you want to get back together or if you don't, and whether you think that's going to be the right thing either way. So I do believe that.
I agree. It kills me when people, they'll like break up with their boyfriend and then the next day they're texting them like, what? Like, oh no, I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, maybe if you just actually broke up, maybe you'll be able to figure it out.
Well, and I mean, that's why that happens. If we're constantly in touch, we kind of like they're boomerang relationships. You break up, get back together, break up, get back together. And when you do that, you're not giving yourself time to think about, well, what actually went what went wrong.
Yeah.
It's very easy to have, you know, a very quick conversation and say, oh, you know, I miss you so much, let's get back together. But that doesn't really address what actually was the root cause of the breakup happening. So you need that time apart to be able to do that. But it's hard. And that's why people reach out to me. They need support. And so having that person there to kind of like, no, don't text him, don't text her, just, you know, let's kind of stay on your path and let's focus on you, and let's kind of bring you back into the center stage here. I think that's what people really benefit from.
Are there certain things that you suggest to help them focus on themselves, like things to have them do?
Yeah, I mean, it's really about it's largely about figuring out, well, what do you want? You know, what do you want from here? How can you focus more on you? Because when we're in a relationship and we're going through like the trauma of a breakup, we can forget to actually think about our needs and what we want. And
out of our heads.
Yes. And when we've been in a relationship, often our hobbies and our friendship group can be so interconnected with our partner that we lose sight of who we are. And, you know, our hobbies and our friends and us as an individual. So it's really about reconnecting, and like I say, you know, really focusing on your physical health and doing some mindfulness stuff. Like, I mean, I'm not kind of massively into like hippie stuff. All of I don't want to go too woo woo on you, but
you might when you leave.
LA will turn you.
Well, this is the thing. But you know, things like meditation or whatever you want to call it, mindfulness, just taking some time to be with your thoughts and be with yourself can be really, really powerful. Because we often want to escape that. And
I think that's the issue. I feel like so many people are like afraid to just be by themselves and really understand themselves.
And so a big part of coming through a breakup and actually coming through it in a really healthy, empowered way is to learn to be with yourself again. And you kind of, that can be scary, but until you just sort of you face it head on, it's, you know, you're not going to be able to do it. But it's just like, you know, taking a little bit of time each day to just be by yourself and to be with your thoughts and not judge them and not feel that you should be over the breakup and not feel that you have to turn to, you know, social media or dating a billion other people or drink or anything like that to numb all of that stuff. So, and again, having someone there to support them on that journey can be really powerful.
Okay, well, the social media thing brings up a whole different issue. Like, people will just stalk their ex for hours, or like, or they'll go the opposite route and they'll like unfriend them and block them on everything. And I mean, what do you think about that? Like social media, like
social media is a tricky one because it's in our face constantly. I think it's I mean, in an ideal world, I would say to people, you know, just limit what you're seeing on social media. You know, just limit your exposure. There are things you can do. You can hide people's news feeds. You can unfriend them. I mean, if it's that kind of relationship where someone's been, you know, a complete
dick.
Can I swear?
We like to swear. We like to swear.
Dick.
Then
there's no, you wouldn't want them as a friend. So there's no reason why you need them on your Facebook profile, because every time you see them, it's going to just unleash all of these raw emotions again. So you have to kind of take it for what it is and be really honest with yourself. And then, you know, use the tools that are there to be able to hide news feeds of mutual friends, that kind of stuff. But you know what, it's really hard to not Facebook stalk. Like, let's face it. I mean, I could say don't do it, just stop. But it's a lot easier said than done, and when you're on your own. So I think it's just having an awareness of how it makes you feel, and really, you know, you kind of go on Facebook and see them and think, oh, that makes me feel really shitty. So then the next time you go and do it, you think, well, I know how that made me feel last time. Is this really going to make me feel any better? And so you've kind of got to take responsibility for yourself. Right, there's no one out there who can take that away from you.
Actually, this is like, okay, like I had a breakup where I'm like very good at I was just like, I didn't like unfriend him or anything. Like, I had it wasn't a bad breakup. But I just was like not gonna really go on social media because I just didn't really want to see anything. And I was totally fine with that, and I didn't see anything, and I was just, you know, just running around doing my thing. And then like one day, like all my friends would just text me like screenshots from social media. I'd be like, did you see this?
I had that
of him?
experience
And I'm like,
as well.
you guys,
It's so unhelpful.
Yeah, I was like, guys, I'm like trying to not pay attention to this.
So I will say that if anyone's listening who is a friend of someone going through a breakup, like I know you're probably thinking that it's gonna help them. Perhaps you want to reinforce what a bad guy he was, but don't do that, because it's not helpful. It's not helpful. And I think what you did there is to withdraw from social media. I think there's something in that as well, because we, as we were just saying, we're so obsessed with it, and going through a breakup, we can just go even more down that rabbit hole. Like, start getting outside and doing things. Just take a little bit of a break, especially if you know that you're prone to be a bit of a social media addict. Just start to kind of scale back on that a little bit, so that you're not being exposed to all of this stuff, because it's not only what you're seeing of your ex, you can be comparing yourself to other people, other people's relationships, and then feeling shitty about that. And so the more you can get out there and prove to yourself that there's fun to be had out there, there's stuff for you to go out and achieve.
Because all you're seeing on social media is everyone's highlight reels. So like you should be making your own. People
never go on there and sort of post about how bad they feel.
Do you think there's a time frame? Like, I'm thinking about people who break up with somebody and then 3 days later they're dating someone else. Like, do you think there's a time frame to start dating someone else?
Again, it depends on how rough the breakup was.
Let's say it was like a substantial relationship. Like, not just like, oh, you dated someone for a week and then you like.
Well, what I always say to people is, I think the right time to be going out dating is when you feel like you're not looking to it or to someone else to fill a gap in something in your life that isn't already there. Right? So, you're not looking to find someone as a coping mechanism for suddenly not having anyone there again. It's not to fill a void. But when, you're kind of out there doing your thing, you're living your life, you're having fun, and then dating becomes just a nice enhancement to that. So I think it complements it, but it's not the be all and end all. So I think that's generally the right time, as opposed to it being a time scale, because everyone can get to that point at a different time.
Do you see differences between the way men and women approach relationships?
What relationships in general? Or breakups?
Are there any big differences that you see? Like, I don't know, in dealing? Because do you coach men too?
I do coach men. Yeah, I coach men through a lot of breakups. Actually, like, I get mainly men.
Oh, really?
Out. Yeah.
Wow. That's so interesting.
Yeah, but you know why it is? It's because
maybe they want a female opinion.
They do. They want a female perspective, and also they feel that they can't talk to each other.
That's so true. Which is so sad.
Whereas women, we generally are like at the other end of the scale. We talk about it so much, and sometimes a little bit too much, but men, they don't really feel it compromises their masculinity.
It doesn't,
or that their
doesn't.
mates will think that they're weak. And actually, I think more men, like, if they talk to their friends more, it will build stronger bonds, because all guys still need, like, they still got emotions, they still feel stuff. And I think if one person can actually set the tone and approach their friend, then that friend is going to think, oh, thank God for that, like, he feels he's he understands what I've been through. And look, for guys, it's not about sitting there crying on the sofa night after night, watching
what do they do?
It doesn't, being emotional and showing your emotions doesn't mean sitting there in a blubbering mess. It just means facing up to what you're feeling, and then calling on support if you need it. So I definitely think that's the key difference between men and women. Men rather feel that they have to, just take it with a pinch of salt, get over it quickly, that they're absolutely fine. Some women do. We do that as well. But I think men it's more of a pride thing, a male pride thing.
What about differences in the way people like get over it? Do you see it?
Some people, they go out and they're going to bars, and they're, like I said before, they're doing everything to numb, to fill the gap. They're sleeping with other people, they're partying all the time, they're they're kind of putting down one bad habit and picking up another one. Some people wallow
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely a difference between accepting what you're feeling and then that turning into wallowing. So, you know, they won't leave their house for weeks on end. I mean, and that's not good either.
Yeah.
So it's kind of creating a little bit of a balance. Like,
what do you tell somebody who does that? Like, I have a friend who broke up with her boyfriend, and she was just like, I haven't been able to get out of bed in a week. I haven't gone to class. I can't go to work. And I'm just like, whoa. Like,
That's
I was like, you like gotta get up. And she's like, I can't. Like, I'm just so distraught. And I was just like,
well, it's rough, isn't it? Like, why do we even bother?
Yeah.
I guess if I haven't died in this lifetime, I really haven't experienced true heartbreak.
Oh my God.
I mean, I think if so that's been what, a week?
Yeah, it had been a week.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I suppose, if she's feeling really, really heartbroken, then that could be kind of classed as normal, I guess. But I just
feel like it's not okay to just not live your life for a whole week, like to literally just lay in bed and not go to class, not go to work.
You've got to take responsibility for yourself.
Right.
It is really, really hard, and that's why when I work with people, I like to give them like little bits that they can focus on each day, because for her, getting out of bed, going to class, going about her everyday life probably just seems so overwhelming.
Yeah.
So if she could maybe just, every day you get up, you get dressed.
Yeah.
You know, then the next day you go out, you go to the shops, you call a friend, and you start just introducing, you know, little bits of life again.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to hold yourself accountable to do that. You know, you can't just sit around. But then, you know, I will say that if you feel that you're actually getting quite depressed, and that it's kind of gone to another level, it's okay to kind of seek out the help of a GP doctor or professional. Like you kind of know yourself, and if you feel like you're going down that road, then it might be time to kind of look at support in that way as well. But I would say for the majority of people, it's just to sort of just give yourself a little goal each day.
Yeah, that's a good.
And try writing down your feelings as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
journaling is another thing that can be really, really helpful, because when you're sitting there, and especially if you haven't got out of your apartment for a week, you kind of your head's going to be all cloudy, and you're probably not sleeping well. And just you need to find a way to make some sense of your thoughts.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you see them down on paper, you know, you can think, okay, right, it's time now to
move on.
Start kind of living a little bit again.
A lot.
Has it?
Yes. What's the oldest and youngest client you've ever had, and what are the main differences you see between, I guess, their struggles? Do we all have the same struggles, or? Yeah,
ultimately we all, you know, heartbreak, again, it's kind of timeless. Obviously the older people have a lot more experience with it. So I think the oldest client I had, oh my God, I think he was nearly 60.
Aww.
Yeah, I think he was nearly 60, and he was so sweet. And then the youngest was about, I think, early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like us.
Yeah. I mean, and the younger people, like what we're talking about, it's their anxiety stems from social media, digital.
Yeah.
I saw my ex on Facebook and I don't know what to do, and, you know, really not giving themselves the opportunity to create that space for themselves. And then the older people, they really want to find something long lasting, and they want to find that person to grow old with. We all do, really.
Yeah, we do.
At the end of the day, we all do. And so I think there's a sense of, you know, they're getting quite anxious that they're never going to find anyone, and is there something wrong with them? And so
how do you know, this is a huge question, how do you know if someone is the one?
Oh wow! How do you know if someone is? What a loaded question. I personally, no, it's a good question though. I personally don't believe that we have, like, there has to be just a one. There can be, you know, one person who we end up spending the rest of our lives with forever.
Right.
But you know, it can be quite disheartening if you think you found the one and then you break up with them.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, shit, that's my quota. Of ones.
No. I agree with you.
Yeah, but I think, you know, if you are wondering if that person could be one of your ones, let's say, I think it's, you know, you've got to have given that relationship time to really evolve. You know, can you both communicate with each other? Does that person make you feel good? You know, how do you feel when you're around them? Does it actually, you know, make you feel better about yourself in a way that they compliment you, or does it feed insecurities and you're kind of with them to validate yourself?
Yeah.
Right. can you have fun with them?
Yeah.
Is it easy to be around them? Do you feel that they give you the time and the space to kind of carry on with your own things? You know, are you both, you know, you get on well when you're together, but do you both have your separate things as well? So that you're not living in each other's pockets all the time. You're not dependent on each other, and that's kind of practically and emotionally. So I think there are a few things there which signify the makings of someone being the one, whereas I think people get very caught up with, and this is again through movies and all of that stuff, there has to be like fireworks and chemistry and all of that and drama, and that's all well and good, and it's really exciting in the moment, but when you're starting a relationship with someone on that, I think
it's very
the majority of cases it's very, very shaky, and there isn't much sort of emotional stuff going on there. It's based purely on all of that surface stuff, which can be really, really attractive and exciting and addictive, but you know, it's a bit empty beyond that.
So I have a question. Do you think that more people nowadays settle? Like, I feel like so many people just settle now, like, because it's harder to find people, I guess. I think I agree, actually. Like, it's like I think about a lot of times, like I see people like a few years older than me, you know, and they're just like, I like need to get married, and like this is the person.
There's a sense of urgency.
Even if they have problems in their relationship, they're just like, well, I'm not going to meet anyone else, so like I'm just going to stay here. And I'm just like,
this idea of marriage too, not even being with that particular person. It's about this idea that they want to be married to someone.
They like the idea of the label more than is that the right person. I definitely think that's a thing. Definitely. I think we're comparing ourselves to other people. We're comparing ourselves to people we don't even know, whereas I think this has become more prominent in the past 10 years. Before we had all of this stuff, we weren't aware of what other people were doing so much, so it was more important for us to find someone who we could build a genuine connection with, whereas now we're like, well, what will people think if I'm not married by the time that I'm 30, and what does that say about me? And it's all of that stuff that's coming up more and more now.
I think another thing is, like, a lot of people kind of feel like ownership over that person, and they don't want to see the other person with another person. So what is your advice for people who like get jealous, I suppose?
You've got to, I mean, that's, you know, that's something that's going on within you. So if you feel triggered by, I mean, we all get jealous, let's face it. And especially if we've gone through a breakup, or we really like someone and it's not really quite reciprocated. But I think, you know, you've got to remember that if that person has already shown you that you're not the right person for them, they're not the right person for you. Because it can't be one-sided. You can't manipulate someone into liking you. So if you are experiencing jealousy issues, you've got to look at where that's stemmed from. You know, what insecurities about yourself is that revealing, and then it's about taking a step back and really addressing that stuff, and not focusing so much on how can I get him to like me. It's like, well, how can I get me to like me more? How can I, so that when I am going out there and I'm meeting people, particularly in a romantic sense, it's not all about do they like me, will they like me, or trying to become someone who you think they'll like.
And like what you said earlier, how like if someone brings out insecurities in you, it's probably not healthy. So like, and then you go out with someone else and they actually bring out a better side of you, that's probably the better person. People
should absolutely, like, you know, you should enhance each other's lives, and you should bring out the best in someone. That's when you know that you're with the right person, or the right type of person. That you're great as you both are, and then you're amazing when you're together. And that's kind of equal from both sides. It's not dependent on one person always lifting you up, or always having to give you compliments or tell you you're good enough. Like, you've got that yourself. So regardless of if that person is there or not, like, you never will lose that. We all have our moments.
We all have our moments. Foundation though that you set.
Okay, what about like, what do you think is like normal feelings to have towards the person after you break up, if it wasn't a bad breakup? Like I had a breakup where it wasn't a bad breakup, but then like a while later I was like really, really missing him, and I was like, wait, does that mean I like made a mistake? Like,
is that part of the stages that you like
like it is. It is, especially where it is like you just described there. There wasn't kind of anything dramatic that went on. I mean, I guess you probably just, perhaps just went on different paths, and it just wasn't kind of right anymore. Yeah, I mean, just because you miss someone, that doesn't mean that relationship was right.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of go back to the core reasons why the breakup happened in the first place, and even if it means writing those things down, and then so you've kind of got that list to go back to. And missing someone is normal. Don't give yourself a hard time about it. It's part of the grieving process, really. You're mourning a relationship, and if there wasn't anything particularly bad, the chances are it was good a lot of the time, and it's absolutely normal to miss that. So it's also about not kind of overanalyze what you're feeling. Just let yourself feel whatever you're feeling. If you're feeling anger, if you're feeling hurt, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling like you're a little bit indifferent, you don't know what you're feeling, allow yourself to feel all of those things, and then just let them kind of feel them and feel through them. Yeah. That sounds a bit weird, but you see what I mean.
Yeah. What do you think about people who like go back to the same person over and over again? Like, those people who they go together and they break up and they go back together and they break up.
An episode.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you've got to take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't.
I feel like people either take that as a sign, like, oh, we keep getting back together, so that means we're meant to be together, or it's the opposite. Oh, we keep breaking up, so like we shouldn't be together. Like, it's two completely different.
Two
perspectives.
Yeah. I think if you keep going back to someone and then it's not working, well, you've already got you've already got the evidence to show you. If we're going to get really really kind of analytical about it, you've already got the evidence to show you that that's not going to work, or you both haven't taken the time to figure out what really is going wrong and doing work on yourselves to be able to then come back to the relationship and communicate about what went wrong properly and then address it properly as equals. And that's what we were talking about earlier, about why it's important that you do have that time apart. So I mean, you've got to take responsibility for yourself. And if you know that something just isn't working, there has to be a cutoff point, because I think every time you go through the same breakup again and it just like saps a little bit more from you,
right?
And then and each time, your self-esteem goes, your confidence goes, your kind of the want to kind of get out there and live your life goes, and you just get so obsessed with that person, and it's just not healthy.
And I've seen girls like become dependent upon, if one person in their dating life doesn't work out, they always go back to that person because they're really reliable. They're like, that security blanket that they have. But kind of switching over to like going back into the dating, what do you think about people dating multiple people at once, but like non-exclusively, like when they're just trying to figure out, what they want?
I think that's fine. I think it's a good thing to do. Like we were saying, it's about not settling. But I think you've just got to be open about
be upfront about
you've got to be upfront about it, because let's face it, a lot of people are doing that now. And I always say to people, when you're going out dating is great fun, but it's a bit like going into the lion's den if you're not used to it. And I think sometimes especially if you haven't dated for a while, you can just assume that people are, if they're going on a date with you, they're only dating you, and it's just not the case. Like now we've got all these apps and everything. People are seeing who is out there. So I think it's just about having that that ownership of it, and knowing what you want, and knowing that, okay, I do want to date a few different people. It doesn't mean that, I'm kind of going out there and misleading people. You've just got to be upfront. And if someone you're going on a date with is giving you the signs that they want something more, they're seeing more in this than what you are, then, don't string them along. Just be upfront about it, and then give them the choice to then walk away if that isn't aligned to what they want. But I think it's perfectly okay.
Me too.
Okay. What are the most common causes for breakups that you see? Like, is there like one thing that stands out as like, this is usually why people break up?
Usually it's the trust goes somehow. So there's the suspicion of being cheated on.
That's what I was wondering about. Like, is that super prevalent?
It is. Okay. It is. But I mean, whether that is actually the case, I mean, I only usually work with the one person. I don't work with the couple. There's usually an air of, well, I think that he might have been seeing this other girl because I found messages, and so it's kind of then they're getting really insecure about that. And then,
what do you think about that, about people going through their partner's messages?
Yeah. I think that with that one, I've got to be really careful, but I think you have to be honest with yourself and think, are they giving me a justified reason to want to go through their phone, or am I just being really insecure?
Right.
Well, and is this a habit that I've had throughout other relationships as well? I mean, and if they're giving you a reason to go through, giving you a reason to go through their phone, I think it's better if you can to have a conversation with them. It doesn't mean confrontation or screaming, shouting or anything like that. Just about like why you feel a little bit uneasy, and trying to have it out with them kind of in an open space of communication rather than looking through their phone, because you just never know what you're going to find. And then it's like, well, how do I then approach that if I do find something? Or if it's something which is more within you, and you're looking at things that aren't actually there, so you've got to be a bit real with yourself.
Do you get people, like, do you get the person who did the cheating as a client?
Sometimes I do.
Oh wow.
Why do they cheat?
Well, a lot of times when they do, if they reach the stage where they come to me, they're like, I think I've got a bit of a problem here because I can't seem to commit, and I always seem to be, going off with other people. And so people cheat because, again, there's something in themselves that they're not able to fulfill. They want that validation to know that they can get someone else. Sometimes people just aren't ready for a relationship. And they don't want to let that relationship go. They want the best of both worlds. They're selfish.
Wow.
They're selfish. And those people just need to kind of, grow up and get a bit more emotional maturity. They've got to go away and do their stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Like, again, it's fine to want to date multiple people, but don't do it when you're in a relationship.
Exclusive, right? That's just horrible.
Because it will, karma will come back.
And I think that a big problem now, at least for people our age, are people are not clear about what they want. Like, people are embarrassed to like tell a person, I want to be exclusive. So they're just like, I don't know if he's dating other people. I don't know if I'm allowed to. And I'm like, you have to be just straightforward.
We're worried about how I'll come across too needy.
Yeah,
look,
like, no.
Yeah, there's a way that you can say to someone, right, this is what I want. I would really like to be exclusive. There's a way you can say that in a way that isn't needy.
Yeah.
You just have to be very clear and direct about it. And then, you don't try and persuade them. You're telling them what you want, and then it's their job to go away and think about that. And then it's your job to just be like, well, look, if that's not what they want, then they're not the right person for me. And to just walk away with grace and dignity.
Yeah, definitely.
No one should ever apologize for how they feel.
Yeah. No, and I think people are craving it.
Yeah.
I really do think people are craving it now.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay. We want you to help us answer some listener questions.
Okay. All right. So this one's from Alex, all the way from Sydney, Australia. She says, hi girls. So my question is referring to being in a relationship with someone who has an addiction but is overcoming it and getting better. For me, it relates to my partner in gambling. Just interested in your personal opinions when it comes to gambling in relationships and what you'd suggest to move forward in a positive way. Thank you. Love you guys. XO. Oh, so sweet.
We love you too.
That's the farthest listener question we've ever gotten.
Yeah, that's really far
great.
away.
Australia.
Well, I think with that, good on her for obviously asking that type of question to know how she can support him. I think that already shows that there's obviously a degree of strength in their relationship. I think as long as he is seeking the help that he needs to kind of get through that, and she is able to support him through that, that's all that she can do, and just to kind of see how that goes really, and if she really wants to support him to do so, as long as it's not something which is really affecting her and the relationship, and it's not, he's been upfront about it, and he is getting that help.
I think that's the most important thing. Like, is he actually getting help?
Or is he saying?
Yeah, a lot of people just say they are. Like, you have to make sure he's actually working on it. Yeah,
I think to probably put her mind at rest and to stick by someone who's got that kind of an addiction. I mean, that's tough for them as well. So I think she can do it in a way that's very compassionate, but that she gets some kind of indication that he is actually being true to his word there.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if she feels that he isn't, then she should bring that up with him.
Yeah.
Because otherwise that's just going to harm her as well.
Yeah.
Right.
I think sometimes in situations like that, people can kind of twist it. Like the person who's addicted to whatever, like tries to make their partner feel guilty, like it's their fault. And this person feels like, I can't abandon you.
That's really
I can't.
manipulative.
It's really emotionally
Yeah.
manipulative. So she also, that's a really good point, because she also needs to make sure like he's not blaming her
Yeah.
for it, or he's not using
it's
the
not-
relationship,
yeah.
the stress of a relationship as an excuse for it. She needs to be clear on what he thinks his reasons are
Yeah.
for that. But you know what, if he's had this addiction and he's owned up to it and he is getting the help, fair play to him.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, you know, I mean, stick by him,
It
support
can make you
him.
stronger.
Yes.
You know? Yeah,
Yeah.
Sure.
definitely.
Thanks for submitting, Alex.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. This is from Sarah from Pennsylvania. What should I do if I'm in love with my best guy friend, but he has a girlfriend? Help. That sucks.
Yeah, move on. Move
Yeah,
on now,
yeah.
really.
That's the best advice.
Yeah, because you know, I mean, that can be really hard.
Yeah.
But the more you pine after someone like, he's not available.
Yeah.
He's just not available. Maybe in time he will be, but you know, you don't want to go in there and try and break them up.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
he's not gonna want that.
Yeah.
And I think if
When
you've
you
already-
say move on, do you mean like move on, like from try to move on from having feelings from it, or like don't be his friend anymore?
oh, I mean,
Like I feel like it'd be so hard to be someone's friend.
yeah.
It would be really hard.
Yeah, I think she needs to kind of detach herself away from him
Yeah.
a little bit, because it's just she's not going to be able to move on fully and find someone else,
Yeah.
or get out there and have fun and date again if she's constantly, you know, speaking to him or around him. So perhaps just take a little bit of a break from him.
Yeah.
Okay, very quickly, this is like my question. I have a guy friend that like has a crush on me, and I've known for a while, but then now he's
We've
kind
all
of
known for a while.
he's revealed it.
Is that guy?
Yeah.
And I don't see him like that at all, and I don't give any hints at all. But the other day he explicitly told me that he liked me, and like what did he think about us dating. And so I was wondering, how do you continue a friendship when someone's already revealed their feelings for you?
Yeah, gosh, that can be really, really hard. Again, I think it's just being completely honest with him, and
Yeah.
you know, you saying to him, look, I really value our friendship. I don't want to lose that. And then he's got to be the one to say to you, you know, if he feels that he can't, you have to respect that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
'Cause he might, oh bless him,
Yeah.
because he might find it very, very difficult. So if you can sense that as a result of that conversation that he's pulling away a bit, give him that
Right.
space. Like
Okay.
don't try and text him, or you know, don't try and text him
Yeah.
too much, or perhaps as much as what you're doing, because he'll probably just need a bit of time to
Okay.
kind of, he might be a bit bruised.
that
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
I don't
not
mean to
too
bruise anyone.
not too much, but you
Yeah.
know, he might need just a bit of time to
Right.
kind of get his head around that. So
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, the next one's from a guy, Jake. What's the best way to catch a girl's attention without coming on too strong? I want to show her I'm confident, but I don't want to look like I'm full of myself. This would help a lot of guys here, actually.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah. Like we were saying before,
Yeah. I know what to say. Yeah.
Yeah, don't.
No catchy phrases.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no catchy phrases. Don't
No pickup lines.
don't try and show her that you are a certain way. Be that person.
Right.
Be who you are.
Actions more than words.
Yeah,
for sure.
because
Yeah.
and talk to her.
Yeah,
You know,
I feel like people overcomplicate things. Just like go up and make friends with somebody.
Go out. Yeah, you can portray yourself as the most confident guy in the room, but if you're not talking to her, then
Yeah.
you know, you're just going to be in a crowd of other confident guys out there.
Right.
So strike up a conversation with her.
Yeah.
You know, build a bit of a connection with her. Ask her how her day's going, and just be a normal human being around her. And then she will get the sense that he is confident, and there's no tactics. I don't think.
Yeah.
Just
I
be,
like that.
you know, go out there and do things that make you feel confident. Have things to talk to her about. You know, so if you have some fun hobbies, make sure you're kind of engaging in those things, so that when you are talking to her, you've got stuff that you can talk about. You can tell her what you did on the weekend.
Yeah.
She'll be like, okay, this guy's like, he might be worth spending a bit of time with.
Yeah.
You know, he's got things going on. He's fun. He's confident. And that's all you really need to do.
Going off of that, what would you suggest as like good first dates?
Right. So, good first date. I Love.
I think a movie sucks.
We agree on ice cream, like something short and sweet.
Yes, short and sweet is good. No, don't go and see a movie. Don't go and do anything where you can't talk to each other. It's quite old fashioned, that one. But
It's my
I
pet
think
peeve.
do people still do that?
People also be like, do you want to go see a movie? I'm like, no, I don't.
Also, dinner's a little awkward, right? And it's long.
I don't want to do anything too committal first time.
No, you don't. I would stay away from dinner.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it can be awkward. You know, you sometimes don't feel confident eating in front of someone.
I was just gonna say that. I feel really weird eating around people I don't know.
Spaghetti, or you know, it can just be a little bit you can just feel a little bit awkward.
It's funny how
it's like stressful because like, what do I order? Because if I order pasta, it's gonna be like a mess. If I order a salad, it's gonna stuck in my teeth. Like if I order like chicken, I gotta cut it up and like it's just
there are all kinds of things that could go wrong until you get a little bit more comfortable with that person. Then do the dinner. So I think a good first date is something where you're going out and you're doing something, or there's stuff around you that creates conversation,
like hiking.
So you're not like just sitting in front of each other and it's like, right, go.
Like it's like an interview.
That's how it feels.
That's how it can feel. Although I mean, I've had some really good coffee dates, but again, it depends on the person. It depends on the place. Like if you're going for a coffee date, don't go to Starbucks. Don't go.
Oh my God,
go choose somewhere that has a bit of character, that's a bit unique, so that you know, you make an impression. Say you're short on time and you've only got time for a coffee date. Choose somewhere that shows that you've still put effort into it. It's not about spending lots of money. Definitely not. Like I think some of the best first dates you can do for next to nothing. Go and do stuff. Like go to I had a really fun date at a museum once. At LACMA.
I like that.
And I mean, LACMA's
that's a good idea. Like
cool, but
you want to do
so
something
much there
exactly, because you want to be somewhere where if you're like nervous and don't have something to talk about, you can comment on what's going on around you.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
Exactly. And I feel that when you're going out and doing something, you both feel a lot more at ease with each other, and you can see more of each other's true personality. Whereas when it's kind of you're sitting down in front of each other, it's all like, am I going to say the right thing?
And you're not moving, right? So there's no
there's no kind of energy. Whereas if you're moving around together, and even if you're just going for a walk or a hike, you kind of see how each other move. And it's just a little bit more natural.
Definitely.
So don't feel that you've got to spend loads of money.
No.
Just be creative.
Also, like as a girl, like I get weirded out if some guy wants to do some big fancy thing the first time. I'm like, whoa, let's like calm down.
Like a dinner?
Like a big, nice dinner. Like suggesting a restaurant that I know is like really expensive, or just like, I don't know. Like just the money thing makes me uncomfortable.
Like, because then and I think especially if you say, you know, you've met someone off an app and you don't know them, definitely then stay away from elaborate. It's a bit different if you've met the person before and it's your first date and you really want to make a grand impression. That's a little bit different. But if it's just someone you've met off the bat and you know, you're not really too sure how you're going to feel about them, then just do something that's a lot more low key.
In case Christina and I ever go to London, is there a difference between we want to. Is there a difference between dating guys in America versus dating English guys? Is there like some mannerisms?
I bet English guys are nicer.
Very gentlemen.
Who called out?
It's funny because I can bring a different perspective to this. There are a lot of really nice English guys out there. There are. I don't want to bash the English guys, but English guys are a bit too reserved.
I like old-fashioned though. I like tradition.
It's interesting. But there's a difference between old-fashioned and then just not making anything happen at all. So some guys are really reserved and shy, and maybe it's not so much shyness, but they're not proactive.
But I feel like here they're too like
where's the middle man?
I really like that because I'm so used to kind of guys
that we should switch places.
We should switch places.
But I think guys here, they just seem a little bit more like they know what they want, and you know, you
do they?
I mean, maybe some take it to the extreme, but you're on an app and usually it's like, right, you know, we've chatted for a little bit. What are you doing Saturday? Let's meet up. And at home, where in the UK, it's a little bit more long-winded, and then what happens is you end up speaking to this person for ages and ages and ages, and then they just completely fall off the radar and you don't hear from them. So it feels like a bit too much of an effort for very little. I don't want to say reward.
Yeah, no.
but outcome.
I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Are
So
women
I
the
think
same way too? Like a lot of women, and are they more
I think
reserved?
generally we are more reserved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, not everybody.
Yeah,
not
yeah.
everybody, but I think, and I think because the weather in the UK is so bad as well, the majority of the time. So, in the colder months, people can't be bothered with dating so much.
Right.
So it
Yeah.
means they've got to go outside and it's dark and it's cold. And although it sounds silly to mention the weather, but I think like
Right.
here, like in LA, where the weather's
affects
just
your attitude.
No, it's
The
true.
sunny, like,
yeah,
do you
people are
notice everyone's
happier.
smiling?
Yeah.
And people kind of.
It's also the kale here.
yeah, and that. Although that's quite popular back home now. But I think people are, it's much more of a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
People are more active,
Yeah.
and that makes them happier.
Yeah.
So I think all of that does play into it as well, as
That's so
opposed to kind of,
interesting.
critiquing the people. I think it's the environment
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. I feel like now I need to go to England and find a boy.
Yeah.
I
More
like
reserved
I
boy.
like the
Find
more
you a
reserved.
charming English man.
Yeah.
Charming English gent.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Do
a
you
gent.
watch? Do you have Made in Chelsea over here? The reality TV show.
No.
Oh, okay.
What is that?
That's it's a reality TV show that's based on kind of guys and girls who live in Chelsea in London, which is a very sort of affluent area, and they're very well to do, and
Interesting.
a lot of people, I think, from abroad look at that and think,
Yeah.
oh, well, all English people are like that.
Yeah.
And that's not really the case, but
I feel like you should have a reality show.
Yeah, you should.
I
Like
would
that
love
would be
that.
such a good show. I would watch that.
I
I would
definitely
love that.
watch
I
it.
could be like Patty Steiner.
I was just gonna say
Yeah,
that.
but
Do you
for
watch?
Heartbreak.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
love to do that.
That would be amazing. We need to pitch that to Bravo. Bravo, if you're listening. No, I would so watch that. I love that. Okay. Well, we have one more question. We'll try and do a short answer for this one. This is from Constance. She says, "Why is it that some guys act really interested and then randomly ghost you?" Do you know what that means?
Ghosted.
Ghosting? Yeah. Okay.
Ooh,
Ghosted.
ghosting.
Oh gosh, yeah, I could talk about this one for ages. I think because there's so much out there.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
I
so
agree.
and it's
Too
so,
much.
There's so much out there, and it's so easy now to ghost someone.
Right.
Before, in the olden days, where back in the day, we didn't really we had the option, but we didn't really have mobile phones.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to stop seeing someone, we sort of had to have a conversation with them
Yeah.
about it. Whereas now it's so easy to just ignore someone, just delete them
Yeah.
and pretend that they don't exist.
Especially
and
if they haven't been dating for long. If
Yeah.
they just like met through like
Yeah.
Tinder, especially, I feel like a lot of people on Tinder
Yeah.
probably ghost each other.
yeah, so it's not necessarily him being a bad guy. I mean, he shouldn't do it, but it is just becoming more of the norm, which is why you do have to be quite emotionally resilient or be
Right.
prepared for that stuff to happen and
Yeah.
not get too disheartened about it, because often it's not about you. It's just about them and them being a bit like a kid in a sweet shop.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing. Everybody makes it like, "What's wrong with me?"
Oh,
and
don't.
like,
Yeah.
it's
Don't
not.
make it about
He's
you.
probably just like that.
Yeah, unless you're getting the same bit of feedback
Yeah.
over and over again from someone.
Yeah.
Then you might think, oh, there might be something in
Yeah.
that. But generally, if you get ghosted by someone, try not to read too much into it. Like, move on, because
Yeah.
the chances is that they've just got, someone else has caught their eye,
Right.
and then there'll be
Yeah.
someone beyond that, and
they're
he's
not
he's
thinking of you
yeah,
anymore.
and he's obviously just not ready for a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Constance, there will be some guy that doesn't
There
ghost you.
will.
Yeah.
Just
Sure, I
move on to the
promise.
next.
Yeah, he's not good enough for you if he's ghosting.
Yeah.
Okay, this has been amazing. I feel like we learned so
We have
much.
so much.
I know.
I've
I wish
loved
you could
this.
be here for like 5 more hours.
I know. Or for our whole life.
Yeah. No, I have like so many
what do
more
I
questions
say?
to
You
ask
You
you.
can text me. You
Yeah,
can text me
I'm
if you
going
have
to.
any.
Like, help me. So why don't you tell our listeners where they can find you?
Yeah, definitely. So people can find me at my website, which is laurayates.org. I'm on Twitter at Laura Yates UK, and I'm on Instagram as well, at Laura M Yates. So people can find me there. If people will just type in Laura Yates, Heartbreak,
Yeah.
breakup.
We'll
they'll
link.
find me.
I'll link it. Also, do you work with people like from far away?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah,
like,
no, I
people-
work with people all over the world, and
Oh,
my
okay.
sessions are usually via Skype.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, if you guys need help, you should
Yeah.
hit Laura up. She'll help you
Give me a
out.
call and
That's
I'll
so
help you out.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I've loved doing this. Those questions were really good.
We covered some
we
good
didn't
stuff even
there.
Get through half of them.
Oh, really?
We might have to do a part two sometime.
Yes, I'd love that.
No, we definitely should. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I'm like, I can't stop smiling. I loved this. This is so fun.
This is better than what movies tell you.
For sure. This is real life. So follow Laura on all social media platforms and check out her website, and definitely subscribe if you liked this, and leave us a rating and review on iTunes and Stitcher. If you have a question that you want us to answer, or if you have a question that you want to ask Laura for next time when we force her to come back, send it to actuallyadultish.com or email us at actuallyadultish@gmail.com. And so thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll talk to you guys again next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.